I understand white people. Okay, white people, I understand white people. Most of you are white people. I understand you more than probably most white people understand white people. I know that you're all trying to prove that you are not responsible for history. You weren't alive when all that shit happened. It wasn't you. I know, it wasn't. And this is what exactly the same thing as the racists say. They're trying to prove to everybody that they were not a part of this history that oppressed everybody else. And the anti-racists are also trying to prove that they were not a part of history by doing things that demonstrates how they are no longer a part of the oppressing class. But before I end this talk, I just have to tell you why the anti-racists and the racists are going to vote for Intelligenspartiet. The racists are going to vote for Intelligenspartiet because the young people are going to be twice as many as the next generation. The two generations growing up right now are double in size of the previous generations. And they, turns out, are very conservative and kind of racist. And immigrants, turns out, are also quite conservative and racist and kind of anti-immigrant. But this makes sense, you know. I can tell by your reaction that you don't belong to the people who are anti-immigration. You probably belong more to the people that are anti-racist. But that's probably because you don't have that much to do with immigrants. You know, you probably have pretty comfortable lives, live in white communities, you know, stuff like this. Don't take it too bad. What we need to do now to fix this problem in Europe is that we need to understand tribalism. Europeans think that, especially white Europeans, think that we are post-tribal. Nobody is post-tribal. And I know that you good anti-racists are fighting for the working poor, you're fighting for the unemployed, but will you fight for the working poor and the unemployed when those working poor and unemployed are racist? Listen, the failure of the left is not a joke anymore. And the reason why the left is failing the poor is because the left is afraid to critique its own. And the reason, thank you, the reason why they can't criticize themselves is because they're afraid that the opposition will use that critique against them. But if you do not criticize your own side, the opposition will be responsible for the critique. Right, I'm almost done. I'm just here to tell you that we have the same enemy. When the rich people represent openness, the poor people fight openness, not the rich people. It's time to fight the rich, not what the rich claim to represent and pretend to represent. And the last thing I'm going to say before you cut me off is don't be afraid of identity politics. Identity politics is by definition anti-individual. Identity politics is by definition tribal and communal. It's also anti-neoliberal, anti-global economy. Don't be afraid of these people who you think are racists. You're going to have to fight together, you good anti-racists. And you honest tribal racists. Vote for Intelligenspartiet. Sign my, paper to approve the party. Some people don't approve. Vote for illegal voting. Intelligenspartiet.